Alright, everyone. I found someone who was willing to help me out do this. Since I obviously can't solo this dungeon yet. But as you can see, Illidan and Maiev are here. That's one of the things that to me makes this dungeon very entertaining.
Our forces have engaged the Legion on the ground floor. We must place the Aegis in the tower before our losses grow insurmountable.
Our guests arrive. I look forward to ripping those horns from your skull, betrayer!
There is nowhere you can flee that I cannot reach you,
He just
demon.
flies after him.
Illidan! Curse the impetuous demon hunter!
So we are doing this. I found a 120 Blood Elf Paladin who was, he was trying to get his, I think, Mark of Senate taxes. And I asked him, hey, would you be willing to run this dungeon with me? And he was like, yeah, sure. And I figure at this point, all you really need is one other player who's 120, and I assume this guy is pretty high geared. I haven't inspected anything. And this is a heroic dungeon. Oh boy. Here we go. Ah!
Shadow wall.
Ah! Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
It's too far.
That's terrifying when he's like, I'm coming for you, and he just shows up behind you and charges you. Woo! That's pretty horrifying. But yeah, this is one of those dungeons where it's kind of meant for endgame stuff, where it ends up being a heroic or mythic type of dungeon. I'm going to try and see if I can be able to also end up getting the Return to Karazhan dungeon for you guys. It may be a little easier to get a group for that, because all you have to do is just say, hey, let's do this on Mythic and do the speedrun to get the mount, and people will usually be willing to do it, because they'll be like, okay, sure, I'll do that to get one of the 2 different mounts that you can get there. But with a Paladin and a Shaman, I think we can handle this. Of course, he's obviously going to be doing a bit of carrying for me, but at least you don't have to get a full-on group like you used to. And I've gone through this dungeon a few times, so like when we get to the final part, the final boss here, I know what to do. Even if he does, I don't know how often this other player has gone through this dungeon. Ah! That could be a dangerous wall to deal with. Okay, let's go around that. Of course, we can just skip a bunch of this trash. Up, up. There are some nice extra things that you can get in some of these rooms in this dungeon. So sometimes there will be world quests like go and defeat this specific enemy in this dungeon, and then you can go in there and be able to do that. So, like you see all these extra rooms in here, right? A lot of those will have extra enemies to deal with, but will have some extra rewards, especially if they have to do with some world quests and such. Alright, so our first boss, Argonax. This ancient served the Night Elves, priestesses of the Temple of Elune, sending the beautiful hanging gardens. But after the malevolence of the Legion infected the Cathedral, the Guardian absorbed the fell energy through... Oh gosh, I'm about to die. I'm about to die. My health. Ah! My mana. A corrupted caretaker. Yep. Yeah, he's Alright. Yeah, he's got the right idea. Let's clear the room of the ads before we take on this guy, because we don't want them coming over to help him out when we fight him. Ow. Okay. I just realized, how come I don't have a raid profile? Yeah, there we go. Much better. I thought I already had that set, being that I usually do that when I am playing Resto. Go get him, my boys!
Timber smash.
Titan.
Fulminating lashers.
My tendrils will take you all.
Yeah, this is... Yeah, this can be the phase that can be very annoying when he summons in a bunch of other different ads and such. Yeah, so if you're not at this point where I have a teammate who's 120 and who's very high geared and we can be able to take him down pretty quickly, it can be quite a annoying and difficult phase in mechanics to deal with. Like, if you're not bursting him down, like eventually, like some of the damage that happens there can be rather annoying to counter and deal with. All right. Let's go ahead and clear some of these other ads here. We aggroed these. Hey, at least, yeah. And he's playing Retribution, of course, just like I do. Hey, Maev.
Illidan left behind a mess. Stay close. We shall carve a path through these demons.
You see what I mean? We get to go through the majority of this dungeon with both Maev and Illidan, which for me makes it very enjoyable. The imps. I love the ones who say things like, "Ah, Daddy's here!" Worm-tongue scavengers. Ah! Oh boy! Oh boy!
Not enough mana.
Ah!
I will continue the hunt for Illidan. You deal with those abominations.
Sure, Maev, sure. Alright, let's actually get my elemental out for this.
It's too far.
Okay. Ice blocked.
Fools want to outsmart the Legion? Think again.
Oh boy, this guy.
Losers.
Oh, thanks for... I think he gave me a heal. Interrupting him. Boy, I love wind shear for some of those types of abilities and enemies that I can be able to do that interrupt. Oh, that mechanic right there. Oh man, I can tell you guys, I've seen a lot of people die to that. That is a very painful mechanic to deal with. Guys out. Alright. Ooh, good. More blood of Sargeras. So if I didn't say before, one of the main points of this dungeon is that we are making our way to the top to use the Aegis of Agramar to help this place, because it used to be the Temple of Eluth. And we're going to use the Aegis to help take down Mephistroth. You know, that Netherzim who has been a constant presence throughout. Also, I forgot to show you guys that we ran by, like, in the floor area below. We are going through the top area. Oh. I forgot to read that. What event ends up being the Tumasar Garrus raid. I forgot to show you guys that at the very beginning, but that's basically what it is. Ah! Alright. There they are.
Did you really think you could elude me, Illidan? Run again, and I'll shackle you like the beast you are.
Posture if you must, Maev. But for now, do what you do best and follow me.
Zing!
We've lost.
Love
The
that
Legion broke our
comeback.
lines. They pushed us out of the tomb. You're all that stands between them and the Aegis. They are coming. Let them come. Maev and I will hold them on the stairs below.
Forgive me if my glaive finds your heart, Illidan. With so many demons about, it's hard to distinguish you from the rest of this filth.
Love that banter. Yeah, I didn't tell him about that beforehand.
Gil Jaden sends his gratitude for
So we place the
delivering
Aegis here.
into our hands.
He's like, oh, wonderful! You brought it to us!
Bell portal.
But trust me, this is actually going to be very important to have in just a moment once we deal with this guy. Ow! Oh my gosh, my health.
Bell soul clean. Chaotic energy.
Okay. Death to the Legion. Alright, so I've got the Aegis now. Ah!
I will hold the skies. See to the Aegis.
Surrender the shield, and I will grant you a quick death.
Demonic upheaval.
Ah!
Demonic upheaval. Solitude.
Oh boy. Oh my gosh, my health.
Dark solitude.
Alright, so in a moment here, he... Nope, never mind, we killed him before we did it.
Can it be? The Guardians.
In ages past, this shield defended the young world soul against madness and corruption. Today, it serves those who fight for Azarath. I am Aegrin, Guardian of Tirisfal. I left behind this echo of my power as a safeguard, in the event that the wards I put in place to protect the tomb failed. Indeed, I sense that the Master of the Burning Legion now schemes to claim his prize. Yet there is still hope. By anchoring the pillars of creation in the halls below, you will restore my wards and push back against the invaders. Then you must venture into the depths of the tomb and use the Eye of Aman'Thul to eradicate the Fellstorm and sever the Legion's link to Azeroth. But the pillars alone cannot bring victory. Only a united army founded on strength and courage can conquer the Legion. When you and your allies are prepared for the final battle, my Echo will return to aid you. The fate of Azeroth rests in your hands.
Khadgar will want to hear of this.
It seems preparations are in order.
Oh, Illidan. So yeah, this is kind of a big deal, and trust me, we will be encountering her more when we do the Tomb of Sargeras raid. So this was one of the main purposes of the getting the Aegis in Stormheim, was placing it here, and we killed him before that mechanic came up, but the idea of the mechanic that I thought was really cool is that there ends up being a phase called Shadow Fade, where Mephistroth kind of goes invisible and he attacks from the shadows. So Illidan's like, use the Aegis to protect me and I will reveal him. So the idea is that Illidan needs time to be able to reveal where he is, so that way he becomes vulnerable to us. And as Mephistroth is trying to blast him from the shadows, we use the Aegis and we pivot it around to protect Illidan from the blast, which is a really cool mechanic I really like. That's so you got to make sure that whoever grabs the Aegis knows what they're doing when it comes to pivoting it around and around to protect Illidan. By the way, if you'll notice, Illidan no longer has the Warglaives of Asenath from the Black Temple because we took them. It's a nice little bit there that he no longer has those old Warglaives because we took them, because we kept going through trying to get them to drop. So it's a nice little nod to that. So he has those, which I believe are also the extra appearance that you can get if you're playing as a demon hunter. I don't remember if these are either the PvP appearances or the appearance you get from the Mage Tower. They look really cool, and I see some demon hunters running around with the appearances for those Warglaives quite often. So, but as you can see, I really enjoy this dungeon just because of the fact that we're going through here with both Illidan and Maiev, which, I mean, considering how these two used to be back in Burning Crusade and Warcraft 3, the fact that these two are running through here together and just kind of having these little banters, you know, like that exchange they had earlier, when we were running up here, and she's like, "Did you really think you could elude me? Run again and I'll shackle you." Like the bestiary was like, "Push if you must, but for now, just do what you do best and follow me," which I thought was a great comeback by Illidan, because it's so true. And then, "Forgive me if my glaive finds your heart, Illidan. With so many demons about, it's hard to distinguish you from the rest of this filth." It's very, very cute, very adorable. Also, Illidan, really? The preparations thing? We are not prepared? Is that what you're trying to say? So, anyway. So, very much enjoy this dungeon in that regard, because of that mechanic, plus also with all the Illidan Maiev stuff. Let's now get out of here. So, what I think I want to do before we go into the tomb, because it actually has an important story moment, especially for Khadgar, I would love to show you guys the Return to Karazhan dungeon, which was a wonderful nod to those who loved the original Karazhan raid back in Burning Crusade. It has some nice little references and inside jokes about that, especially in the Opera Hall. The Opera Hall has some great little references and inside jokes for those bosses you used to get back in the day. Though it is not a easy thing to do, especially if the group I get decides to want to do the Mythic speed run to try and get the special mount. So hopefully I'll be able to organize that and get that ready so we can be able to show that to you guys. So I'll see you guys then.